Welcome back to J&J Dynasty. All right, let's get this video started. It's been a long time since I've done anything, so excuse the mess. No, wrong one. There we go. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. So we have coming to you with this video. Sorry for the mess. I'm doing the Movember deal, so I look like a scary freak. Yeah. Motorcycle gang, here I come. Walking Dead, whatever movie. There you go. Got a little bit of love for you. At any rate, we're going to get into some way too early rookie wide receiver picks. Just a note for everybody. I basically have watched some college, haven't done a ton of study. These are the guys I like based off of what everybody else is saying. So I kind of did a little bit of a film study today, and I am making a pick here at the very end of Movember, right? And we're going to throw out some what I see as probably the top 12 prospects. Probably, obviously we've got to get to the combine, got to get through the bowl games and all that kind of stuff, injuries and everything else, who declares, who doesn't, all that kind of fun stuff. But this is what we're going to go with for the video on this one. And so why don't we just get this thing started and get going. And I promise to be a bit controversial. Controversial. Can't even say that tonight. All right, well, let's start it off here. Number one, my number one guy. I'm going to be going after Malik Neighbors in drafts as I see right now what's going on with it. 2 years of solid production, and he is a yak monster. Yards after catch. Huge, huge, huge yak monster. I'm going to say this a couple times about a couple guys. He's very Debo-ish. Debo-ish. Not quite as physical a runner, but he doesn't want to go down. He or maybe more a little bit like a DJ Moore. Very fast, very fluid, tough to take down and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I see him. And the thing is that I'm picking him over somebody else, obviously, that everybody's going to be upset and angry with. And the big reason is I love his hands. I love how he can get open. I think that's going to translate to the next level very good. He has good size, and he's fast, what it looks like on tape. Again, always, we'll see what happens with the combine numbers on all these guys, because this is going to change drastically, I'm sure. But just from the game tape, I like Malik Neighbors a ton. And that's nothing to take away. That's not trying to take away anything from the next guy, which is Marvin Harrison Jr. When I was looking through and looking at some highlights and looking it seems like he runs about 4 routes. And I know that he's running more than that, but with the quarterback play and stuff like that, another thing that I didn't like, and I'm being very nitpicky here, both these guys are phenomenal. I think these guys are going to be top 5 wide receivers in fantasy for years to come. That's how much I like these guys, right? Harrison seems like he goes down real quickly, which is kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing. Kind of a bad thing because he's not getting a lot of yak. Kind of a good thing, he's probably saving hits. He's going to be a PPR monster, and he's saving injuries. He's just not going to put himself out there to get hurt. So unless he's got clear, wide open sailing, that's kind of what I saw on some of his tape, which, is kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. We're going to be going a little bit deeper here, and as far as into the draft, I'm trying to make this a little bit quick, just trying to be a little bit controversial, I guess. This is just how I saw them and how I like them, right? Just based off of watching some college and watching some highlight reels and watching just a little bit of tape. I don't get deep dives into these guys, so this is more so of how I feel and what I see as natural catchers, natural runners, route runners, things like that. Obviously, quarterback play makes a difference. The system that you get drafted into makes a difference. So, this is what I'm saying. And like I said, these two guys I think are going to be top 5 guys. They're going to be right there with Chase and Jefferson, and because Cooper Kupp is moving on in that. And so the next couple of guys, kind of toss him in a hat, and we'll just get through here a little bit better. Okay, let's see here. Keon Coleman, athletic freak. Love his physical ability, the hands that he plays with, the speed, the yak with him again. That's kind of why I bumped him up over a couple of guys. I really, really, really like the athletic ability. I think that's going to translate a lot. That's why I have him on the image. That's why I have him on the thumbnail, because everybody's right now is getting a little bit of Marvin Harrison fatigue. I'm not really, but this is just how I'm seeing things that I like in receivers and how they're stacking up. I think Harrison's going to be a PPR monster, high draft capital, everything, and he's going to get open. He's big, fast, and smooth. So there's no problem with Harrison. I just like some of these other guys a lot also. A very good wide receiver class. You're going to be able to fill up your wide receiver ranks. Now, I think on a couple rebuilding teams where I have a lot of draft capital, I'm going to wind up trading some mediocre guys with second round picks, trying to get up into the first round to get some of these guys in the mid to second half of the first round, right? Of one quarterback PPR standard dynasty leagues. All right, so Coleman, I really like him. Just smooth hands, fast, a lot of upside. Let's go to the next guy, Rome Odunze. He is, I think, being a little bit overhyped. Personal opinion, that's why I have him slid down the board. I think he's a very good prospect. That's why I have him on my thumbnail. I wanted a little bit of controversy, and, well, I shouldn't say I wanted it. I'm seeing a little bit of controversy based off of what guys are saying. I like his tape. I just don't like him as much as a lot of people. I actually just watched the Apple Cup, Washington State this weekend, and he looks really thick, and he looked pretty slow. Not like his earlier tape. So I don't know if that was insulation, extra shirts and stuff like that, or if he's just getting a little bit heavier, which would equal being slowing down. So that's one of the reasons why I'm a little bit concerned about him. Obviously, guys can change their body by the time the combine comes and things like that. But if that's what's happening in his, in college, what's going to happen when he becomes a pro after he starts getting paid? So little nitpicky, but that's kind of what I'm a little bit concerned about with him. I think that he's got good hands. I like the fact that he's a punt returner. I like the open field explosiveness. He just doesn't look extremely fast to me. And, it's the Pac-10, so maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We'll see, but that's why I think that I have him slid down a little bit behind Coleman. I think Coleman is just a little bit more explosive overall. So I think that if he can get his route running down a little bit better, he could be an overall better wide receiver in the NFL. So as you know, athletic ability trumps everything. And that's why, you see these guys getting drafted in the first and second round. All right, so Rome, I'm sliding him down my board based off of consensus right now, and the consensus right now is shotgun approach. It's all over the place, but this is my first take on everybody. All right, let's get to the number 5 guy, and Emeka Mbuka. Again, the punt return ability, the open field ability. To me, he looks like a big slot at the next level. He can play on the outside, I think. Based off of his size, he seems to be a little bit slower, but he gets fabulous separation and gets to where quarterbacks can actually see him and get the ball to him. Based off of the helmet scouting, based off of how Ohio State guys have gone, based off of how he played with Stroud, you kind of just can't drop him any further down the board than 5 at this point. Again, we'll see where he gets drafted. We'll see what happens with the combine. So we'll see if he winds up staying there. I mean, the most I could see him moving up is a slot or 2. But I mean, he could slide down to pick 10 or 11 out of these receivers. I could see that also. So Mbuka, that's where we have him. All right. I think that's enough said on him. Let's go. Donnie Mitchell, A.D. Mitchell. Used to play for Georgia, now with the Longhorns. I did do a lot of scouting of him on his Georgia tape, I'm not going to lie. I know that people are talking about him a lot. I really liked his freshman year, he started off a little bit slow, a little bit of a body catcher, a little bit of unsteady, but I mean, that was when he was a freshman. So he's come a long way. He's played in national championship games. So he's seasoned enough. So, I mean, I like the athletic ability. He looks fast. He looks smooth. He gets open. He makes big catches. I just couldn't push him down the board any further than this. He just looks like a very good prospect. And I guess that's about all I can say about Adonai Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell. So that kind of rounds out the top 6. You can leave a comment below if you think that I'm blowing smoke, or if I'm stupid, or maybe you think I'm right on. Tell me what you think below, and we can maybe have a discussion about these guys. All right, so let's get to the second half of the first round, or top half, or next 6 picks, right, for wide receivers. As I see them. And it's kind of funny, right away we come back right with an LSU guy on top. Didn't really like to do that, but thought about switching it. But the next 2 guys are really very similar. I got Brian Thomas Jr., and actually I'm going to pop up the next guy too, Jalen Polk. These 2 guys look very, very, very similar to me. And I get a little bit different vibes. From them, I get big possession type receiver type guys. So let's say James Robinson, or Allen Robinson in his prime. Thomas from the Rams. Why can't I think of his name? Him, or maybe we can just go with Chris Carter. That type of big possession receiver. They have moves. They get open. They got the hands. They can box guys out. They can still get downfield. They catch everything in sight. Both of these guys, I just love them as big possession type receivers, whether they wind up playing in the slot or not. Brian Thomas Jr. was really intriguing to me because he looks like he's playing so slow, so incredibly slow. And then all of a sudden he turns it on and he's fast. And his routes don't look sharp, but he just finds the dead spot. These 2 guys, I'm very intrigued because they do seem to be bigger possession type receivers. So that's why I slid them up the board a little bit higher than maybe I thought I should. But, you know, if they're going to be that type of a possession receiver, I mean, almost like a level below Marvin Harrison Jr., but, kind of the same profile where they're big, they're PPR kind of guys at the, for fantasy football at the next level. I'm not talking about how they play in the NFL. I'm talking more like fantasy football type players, right? So that's what we'll put those guys down at 7 and 8. Now we're gonna that's where I kind of think that there might be another little level. And then Troy Franklin. I mean, I liked his tape. He's very smooth. He's got good hands. He's quick. He seems to be big. I had to put him here just because of how I liked Brian Thomas and Polk. I mean, I thought at times I was putting him up with A.D. Mitchell because they're more similar type players again. So I was going to have them together. It kind of almost seems like Oduze and Mbuka are kind of similar. Mitchell and Franklin are kind of similar. And Thomas and Polk are kind of similar. And then Coleman and Neighbors are big-time freaks and athletic freaks. And Harrison is just probably the best overall. So that's kind of how I was breaking these guys down. But Troy Franklin, I really liked him on the tape, and he looks good. I think in the right system and everything like that, he could be a phenomenal receiver. And I like these guys, 6, 7, 8, they're going to be probably early second, mid or late second. And I think that's going to be a fabulous steal by the time you get to these guys, because you got to remember there's probably going to be 4 quarterbacks taken in the NFL first round. So they're going to go off in the back half of into one quarterback PPR fantasy rosters. Caleb Williams, May, these guys, Nix and all the other guys, they're going to go on the back half of the first, early second, along with all the running backs. So, these guys right here, 7, 8, 9, they're going to be pretty good steals in the early to mid or even a late second round. So, and then so that's why I have these guys here. So then we're going to go back here into the well once again, and we're going to get a Xavier Leggett. I believe he's a 5th-year senior. talk about fast. I mean, he is athletic. He reminds me of Cordero Patterson coming out of college. Big physical athlete, speed. I mean, he seems like Kadarius Toney type, that kind of guy. We'll see if he can stay healthy and continue to be explosive. Late breakout, which kind of scares me. He seems to be a bigger receiver. Seems to be a bit of a body catcher. But man, can he fly? When he puts on the jets, he just goes. So I couldn't push him down the board any further. And him and I put Xavier Worthy here as guys who just flat out fly, fast. Take the top off the defense. Maybe one of these guys can be a little bit more like a Tank Dell where he can get deep, but he can also catch the ball better. So, I mean, maybe that's Worthy. Who knows? We'll see. But the Texas wide receivers, I mean, Xavier Worthy, almost like what the guy's name, played for Dallas. I just had it in my head, and I can't remember it. Detroit went from Detroit to Dallas, back to Detroit. Why can't I think of his name? At any rate, he kind of maybe reminds me of a little bit of him, speedy, deep down the field kind of guy. So Xavier Worthy, I put him at 11. And then just because somebody to talk about, I put down Johnny Wilson, 6'7" wide receiver, quite a bit of a body catcher, but hello, Harold Carmichael, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", wide receiver. You got to love the ability down by the goal line to be a touchdown monster, a possession receiver. He can definitely fight for some jump ball type passes and win. So I kind of wanted to put down, like I said, the top 12 receivers as I could see them right now. And this is going to change, and I'm just throwing these guys out there. I do like how these guys are playing, and it's kind of weird how you got two Ohio State guys, two Washington guys, two LSU guys, two Texas Longhorns guys. Seems like, obviously where you got good quarterback play, you're going to get good wide receiver play. The two kind of go hand in hand, or one pushes the other. So that's kind of just the list of the top 12 and a way too early end of November mock draft or top 12 pick, right? So that's what we'll put down for this one. I guess that's going to be the end of this one. As always, if you like the content, subscribe and leave a comment. And good luck to your fantasy football teams. I got 8 teams. So one USA or ESPN in first place on that one. 2 weeks ago was in first place in half of my teams, and I just got crushed in one. I lost right after the trade deadline in MFL. I lost Joe Burrow and Deshaun Watson, so that team is done after I was in first place with that one. So I got another team that 6-6, and going to wind up getting it. That one had a couple injuries, and so we are going off the rails with that one and rebuilding. And as I said, 10-2 in one league, 6-6, 7-5 in another one. Those 3 leagues are still going good, and had 2 rebuilding leagues, and I can't stop those 2 teams from winning. Trying to really reload up and get some of these wide receivers on those teams. So that's where my fantasy is sitting, and like I said, in my super stupid fun league, ESPN tied for first. At any rate, there we go. A little J&J Dynasty, top 12 rookie wide receiver, way too early. We'll say mock draft or top 10, top 12, and we'll let her go from there. All right. Hope everything's going well with your fantasies. Good luck on the fantasy playoffs, and make some money so you don't have to draft all these guys.